So before we start, I asked if we could try to cover, she thought the agenda was long, so
Yes,
we can cover as many things as possible in workshop.
yes,
The agenda's on, but I think we should get those done.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that long either, but,
Can I go bring something up? You're gonna be talking about the fence?
possibly.
Is that, I think it's,
So, yes, now, let's actually have that discussion quickly. Are we on record now?
yes.
Good.
Okay.
So Dan went out and did it. He
Yes,
did it.
and I got pictures.
Okay, so I think we should talk about that, but the other thing I was gonna do is ask Brian to include it in his landscape description that he provides us on the 8th.
Okay,
I'm gonna take a chunk of the meeting for the joint meeting on the 8th, and I gave him lots of instructions on no holds barred.
Okay.
Like, you get creative with the entrance, you give us options. He's actually doing some due diligence, looking at newer communities, because I talked to him a lot about, we wanna attract younger retirees. So he's going to do that. I said, the fountain may stay, it may go. The monument may stay, it may go.
Right.
I said, just give us options. And so he's gonna get as creative as he can with that. But I will also ask him to do the same thing about the fence. But I do think we need to look at the fence and the openings so that we can make an informed decision.
So if you go down 500 from where we're gonna start, the first opening is in a pretty good I mean, it's covered up pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so you
there-
did what I did.
There's an opening there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I
and,
saw those already.
and so I think we don't have to put it there, so it's a perfect place to put an opening. And then the second one is as you come around the corner, it's not bad either, for where you would have to put an opening,
But then we can put nice plants there. Yeah,
cover up whatever you wanted to.
right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
Right where that
so,
flag is,
yep. So what I did it from the other side, from the 9th cart path yesterday.
Mhm.
And there are some really obvious spots that even if we didn't make it 500 feet, Keith, right? We would be able to run the fence in, have
Right.
an end post, and then have everything, the thick landscaping, and then start again. And it would actually, I don't know how you felt, Keith, when you looked at it, I felt like that we could even go even further than the 25 feet minimum before we had to start a fence again.
oh, through that one section?
Yeah.
By all means, sure.
Yeah.
Save some money that way too.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other thing I would want to say, I apologize, Ken, is that we know we still can't really keep anybody out. So I just want to make sure we're considering the fact that we're doing this kind of as an homage to the people who are concerned about the trespassers, because they are gonna, if they want to get in, they're gonna get in, because they're spicy little teenagers.
Yes.
So
Well,
they're
yeah,
gonna
another
find a
people.
way.
Yes.
So I just want to say that out loud, because it makes me nervous that we're spending $60,000 to put a fence up there. Really may not keep anybody out.
I'm in the same place. I don't understand why we're reacting to 3 or 4 residents who have raised a concern because they're uncomfortable with kids coming in fishing.
It's not just kids.
Well, it's not, I mean, okay, so 2 weeks ago, I called the police. On the back of my pond,
Yeah, you told me.
there were people, no, this happened again. There were people fishing behind my pond, and then I
But you
called the
don't live
police.
over there.
No, but I
It
live.
was
yes,
down
I know.
there.
But I'm just, that's what
No,
I'm
but
saying.
But I'm saying, so they're getting in from, I see people walking in from Silverdella, just walking right through. People are coming from the fish camp, they're coming from the kayak launch, up and
People
around.
are gonna come
So
in no
people are
matter
coming
what.
in,
And there's no way to stop that
No.
because we are public.
Yeah.
And so that, I just wanted to bring that up because I think we have to think about that. It's like, if it was $10,000, but it's a lot of money.
So, but we also have no trespassing signs, right? Certain areas
Not
of this
many.
property,
Well,
but
he's
certain
ordered
areas of
more,
this
I think.
property are not necessarily, like the sidewalks and the streets are public, right? Does that give do we have public access to have people just walk through our bushes and come into the back properties? Or is that private? I don't know.
that's private,
It's private property, which is why you call the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they come.
Well, here's the one thing I would say though, is we collected a lot of money from people. And a lot of the reason we have folks coming in on that side is because stuff was knocked down from the hurricane. And, it's not like we don't have the money to do it. I'm not sure it's 60. I think it's a lot less. It's 60 if we go with the spike top stuff, but I think if we go with something that backs up plantings, you know, I think it's fair because a lot of stuff was knocked down from the hurricane.
Well, I don't think, well, and much of that has been replaced, and if there's still holes, we should do more.
Right, it's like, do you wait for it to grow or do you put the fence in? So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I
Yeah,
wanted to say, I think we
absolutely.
just need to think about it because it is really an effort, but it's not fail-safe. It's not a fail-safe.
Well, let's.
We may put that
yeah.
in the teenagers, and I know there's a couple teenagers who are really kind of the spicy ones that are causing most of the
Yes.
problems because they're little buttheads. And they just will not leave, and even with Keith, I mean.
Yeah.
Even with our sergeant at arms, they were.
Yeah,
They're
nice
They-
guys.
they were-
They're nasty little boys.
They were nasty, yes. And I agree with that.
Do they
Cheryl.
come by bike?
Yes, they always
Sometimes.
do.
I told you the
And they
solution
park
to
their
that.
bikes in the bushes. and
Sometimes they get dropped off by mom. I've seen that.
I've seen them in pickup trucks at the end of Jacaranda, coming in that way. You know, they park right in the median and then.
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
walk-
and they go
Yep.
in that pond for a
And they go
while.
in the
Yeah,
nap
and,
pond for a
and it's
while,
only
yep.
gonna get more because we're gonna have a MERT that goes all the way along when Will, you know, completes his, you know, road, which as we now know, is gonna be starting fairly soon. I
Yeah.
just think,
And so
Well,
here's my other question. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get through the city, the planning commission, the PUD, whatever we have to go through.
We don't have to do one. Alls we have to get, no, I talked to a gentleman at the city. He's not gonna make us do that because we already have a fence.
Okay,
We do have to, and that'll be the fence company have to pull permits to get it done.
Mhm.
And then he said something about talking with the HOAs and the POAs, letting them know that this is happening. I said, well,
I think the only
Okay.
one we really have to talk to is the golf course,
Yeah,
because we're gonna be right.
right there.
and I think they would be thrilled about having that fence because that would stop the foot traffic across the course.
maybe they should pay for parking.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we could
You know, I don't think they'll care,
I don't think,
but at
No,
the same
they'll
time,
take advantage of it.
if you've noticed, they've done some heavy cutting
Mhm.
recently,
Yes.
Yes,
and they've opened up like the fourth fairway,
oh, I know, it's, yes.
which had
Yeah.
grown up and
Yeah.
become a
And
natural barrier.
13,
Now it's open again, and same on 13.
yep,
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've talked to Jay about that. I said, you guys are going a little crazy. And I explained to him about the natural buffer.
mhm, mhm.
And he says, well, they're only supposed to be going after the Brazilian peppers. And I said, well,
They're a little more aggressive than that.
Yeah.
Can we get an idea from Juniper, how long do they anticipate it will be before what we planted will grow to become what we want it to be?
He said it'll take a whole season. So basically, we're looking at, we've got to get through the rainy season, so it's gonna be probably next fall.
Okay,
We'll see some decent
so by
growth.
next.
Yeah.
By next, snowboard season,
Mhm.
we should have a barrier, so we're gonna spend $60,000 for, by the time we get the permits and get the quotes, get the permits, whatever, we probably won't get this thing until August, April, May, June. So we're looking at $60,000 for 5 months.
I think,
But I still do think we need protection. I just don't know what that is. Whether it's the fence or more landscaping or something, more signs.
It's not 60 though. It's, was it
Oh.
28?
What is it, Keith?
Yeah, it's 28
Okay, I think
something.
I was
It's not
looking
the
at the
60.
I guess I was
Spikes.
assuming we wanted the pretty fence.
Yeah, if we
No,
went,
need
it's more,
something to
Yeah.
get people from crawling
we're
between.
gonna go with the ugly.
We're gonna go with that one.
Well, as long as it's
Or
covered,
the invisible one.
as long as it's covered, we don't see it. I don't care how,
That's true.
as long as it's functional. And the question is, if these guys are that randy, are they gonna come with wire cutters and just cut a hole in the fence?
Oh, no, they're not gonna do that, I don't think.
I don't think they've got that in them.
But you
I
know,
just-
they are spicy enough that I think they would walk right through the guard gate and just kind of walk through there and we can't stop them and go down and then cut
We
our
can
But we could
trespass.
tell them,
We can
we could tell
trespass.
them, no fishing.
Mhm.
I mean, if they walk in with their fishing poles,
Our signs need to say, private property violators will be, will be trespassed.
I just ordered 10 new no trespassing property of the Venetian.
Violators will be prosecuted.
And no
They
fishing.
might say that, but
And
we've,
no fishing in the ponds. I mean, we definitely have a lot of those.
Well, first of all, it's a safety issue, I mean, you should,
Sure it
I hope
is.
they're not eating.
I've had people stand
Because
right
they're gonna
beside,
grow like extra ears.
I don't think they'll care about
Right.
the sign.
Yeah.
no, they don't. I had a gentleman with his sons.
We gotta-
Okay, let's move on, but.
Okay,
But-
anyways,
But
yeah.
having the signs helps you when you call the police. and they
Right.
say It's posted.
Correct.
It should be in there.
So, bottom line, we don't have anything on landscape today, we're just gonna continue it, so that agenda item
Okay.
is gone.
Okay.
Okay,
And then on the 8th, Brian will be here in person.
So then maybe just quickly on landscape, I noticed his plan says, and maybe it'll change, it doesn't show trees that are gonna be removed. So for example, I hope they're not leaving those Christmas palms in the bed and planting around them.
That's all for discussion on the 8th.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
told them to get more creative and.
Got it.
And that, I said
Got
the
it.
reaction to the poinsettia was pretty strong. He goes, but they're beautiful, we have beautiful ones in our
They're going to
nursery
the
that are
roadway.
huge already. He said we would plant big ones, and I said, well, be prepared for that discussion. So anyway,
Yeah,
big
okay, cool.
discussion
Got
next
it,
time.
okay, cool. So,
But Keith had his hand up.
oh,
Keith, yes.
We had talked about the oaks of lifting them up and cleaning them all up and all that.
Yes.
we gotta-
3 bids,
Could
88,
could we do that in your thing?
We can.
please? 'Cause we got,
Good.
I'm just concerned, because we got maybe 35 minutes left, so. You all got the Neil letter?
yep.
Yes,
What do you think?
I don't have enough information to really go on with that. Without seeing the architectural drawing of it, I don't know what he's talking about medians and what we're planning, what he's expecting us to irrigate and.
and I really,
And-
nobody irrigates medians.
Thank you.
Well, that's not true. That up in Sarasota, like in Sarasota Central Parkway, they do.
They do.
Because if you look at Jacaranda, it's horrible. It looks disgusting.
Well,
But there are
Um,
other medians that are pretty, and it depends upon what you plant, doesn't it? I mean,
Partly,
Well,
yeah.
But on Jacaranda, all the grass is dead and most of the trees are dead because it just never
Yeah,
got
right.
enough water.
Yeah.
But if you go down Central Sarasota Parkway, it's gorgeous. And if we're gonna look to do something, I mean,
Yeah, but-
I don't know
but
what it's gonna cost us
If
to
you, but if you
actually
read,
physically do it and or then run the water for it.
but if you read through here though, that's a tiny part of
Mhm.
what's in here.
I'll have
'cause-
a bigger issue.
So,
Yeah.
because he's gonna send us a maintenance agreement, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
he wants stuff. Belinda's looking for, staff direction, so my view is, I think we need to have one of us assigned to this, who can deal real time, with this issue. I did send it to Rick, because I think there are some things in here that Rick should help us with. And then I think we also need to assign, in addition to somebody from the CDD, because our jurisdiction ends at our border,
Right.
because of Dylan's rule, I think we need to have somebody from the other official organization in here, which is the POA, who's also part of, working together with the CDD designee. Because I think what we want to ensure is that we've got an official representation on this and that we don't have sidebars, we don't have sidebars happening.
Yeah.
Because that's a risk.
I'll do it if you
Are
want.
you willing to do
No,
it?
I'll do that.
So,
Because because of my CA contacts, I have an understanding of what's going on there.
but this is not a
No,
CA.
It's a
no,
POA
no,
thing,
no,
yeah, it's a
but
POA
no,
thing.
but because of
Right.
being on the CA, I have an idea, I worked on the ACC, so I've got a good relation with the POA,
Okay,
so.
So my only other comment would be as a liaison to the POA, I would also be willing to do it. And I have no prior interaction with Neil.
Neither do I.
And, okay, so I think that's
so I'm
important.
not the right.
Yeah.
You are not, you cannot do it.
Actually, my only indication of participation with Neil was actually a couple of years ago. I actually sent a letter to them, just trying to understand what was going on, and said, I'm open to understanding, and I had a good conversation with Mary Ann, a couple of emails back
I
and
was a
forth.
your person.
And Neil also knows that he's working on trying to have some discussions with him, because I was. involved in
Yeah,
that.
because I think on
He might
here,
know my name, he might not. I don't know.
because if you read the letter, stuff's gonna happen fast.
Yes.
And I think the other piece of this is one way that this group, this group of two becomes official is I think there needs to be some kind of communication
But
with
sure,
residents.
if you want to, I mean, if you want to do it,
I don't care, I just,
I don't care either.
since I'm liaisoning with the
Go ahead.
POA.
And that's what I'm wondering,
Then
is
take
since
it.
Cheryl's
Take it.
liaisoning with the
I don't
POA.
necessarily, I hesitated before you even said it out loud.
You can have it.
Cool, and you're the communication guru.
Sort of.
Good job, well done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
All right,
awesome. Thank you.
Actually, maybe it'll be better because if you would see, if you're also landscaping, you'll have.
Right.
That's
the
all,
landscaping
that's
guys
the other thing I
about-
was thinking, we've got all those
We got
those
all-
irrigation
yep.
connections.
Yeah, you might, that might, okay.
Thank you.
All yours.
thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Maybe in negotiations with him, if he's wanting us to do something, maybe he'll pay for the back entrance to be upgraded and all that done.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing I kind of want to do is gently talk about, I always wanted this Publix, it's going to be so convenient for me.
Yeah, so, okay, cool, that's great, so then staff is looking for direction of what I'm thinking might help is that when Belinda and Andy or Rick or whatever, that way it's on the record for the main meeting, so that's kind of what I was thinking, but. So I know we have to do the appointments of committee members, and we'll do that in the main meeting, but I'm interested in what you think about, discussing, I think we need to talk about the charters. In my opinion, the charters have to be addressed. Many of them say, make recommendations to River Club management as well as the board, and I think we need to rein in.
I thought
The
they were all
charters.
supposed to be the template.
Well, and maybe
Remember we
there,
did that template, and
maybe-
I don't think this particular committee ever went with the template.
it's possible not, but I think at the end of the day, I especially because we now have, Hampton on board, I think we need to look at the charters, ask
I
the
agree.
committees to look at the charters and make sure, because I've already said to social and dining, that this committee is advisory to the board. It's not here to sit down and tell management what to do.
All of the committees are advisory to the board,
Yeah,
right?
well-
I mean,
But
Yeah, but-
only, they're not here to sit down with management for 2
Exactly.
hours and tell them,
Exactly.
Yes,
what has to be
I
done.
agree.
I agree.
And to kick back to the committee to change their own charter, I think the board's responsible for writing the charter, not the
Okay.
committee. So I
yeah,
think we should
maybe we
vote on
just
it.
put all the charters in the template form.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all
I'm
gonna
good
do our
with that.
charters?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm good with that.
Because
I will
yeah,
take the appropriate steps because I'm looking at racket sports right now, and it does say to River Club manager, and so.
and it talks about like maintenance protocols and stuff,
Yes.
that's not,
Yeah.
that's
No.
not the rule.
I
I
mean,
think we need to
yeah.
narrow the
Committee.
scope.
And like, the finance committee had a long list of reports, I don't think that belongs in a charter. I think a charter is strategic and not tactical, at least in my book.
So do we want to say that each liaison takes their committee,
Yes.
looks at the template,
Yes,
puts it in the right format, and brings it back to the next?
Can you send
year?
us the template,
Can you send us the template again?
just so we have it again, please?
Actually, I think the racket sports is in the template.
If you could send us the template, just to make sure that we're compliance. But I think that, if the committee is going to be advisory to management, that should occur at the meeting, not.
I wouldn't put it in the charter.
No, I'm saying not control, but that's the only time that really the committee should be interfacing, unless at the meeting,
Well,
then they decide, like Greg decides with Tim, that they need to follow up regarding something they discussed in the meeting and then have a meeting with the vendor to come in. That would be the type of thing,
right,
but that should be directed more by Greg.
Well, here's the thing, they have the opportunity at their meetings, because
that's-
management goes to their meetings, I think at this meeting.
Oh, no, at each
Yeah,
individual
and so-
committee's meeting, that's when they interface with management and.
And that's it.
That's
And-
it.
then-
Except if
well-
management really has more
management is
follow-ups.
invited, in the past, management was invited to the meetings, but not required to attend the meetings. That's, at least the way it used to be in the olden days.
So Jill, are you thinking that if there needs to be communication with management, that the committee has to go through the liaison to have that conversation with management?
Yeah, it's one
Okay.
thing if it's a resident, as a resident, I didn't like
Didn't like the.
cod or something.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, okay.
But I think if there's, because there were two people on my committee who were setting up meetings, where it's like, say on the.
Yes,
evening,
yes, I
yeah.
had a couple of situations like
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, okay, that sounds fair.
Okay,
So do you have a target date on when you want these
Well, the-
charters back?
the committees are they organize in January, so I
Yes.
think.
And re-elect and do all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, so I
think.
Personally, I think, like I've got a meeting probably right after our meeting, but some of you may have meetings before.
I do not. I have a
You
meeting
don't?
right after that
Is it
first
January
meeting. 12th,
Whatever it is.
whatever date that is, yes. I have a
Okay.
meeting right after that.
Okay.
Okay, so be prepared to have that discussion then, and have the updated charters is what
Yeah.
you're discussing, what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, if we can get that, that'd be great.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I actually do have one
Oh, yeah,
question
please.
about the committees. From a fitness and pool advisory committee, we have one individual who is not always at our meetings. And so we haven't had the opportunity to say whether we want that individual to remain on the committee or not. So during the committee appointments, I'd like to recommend for fitness and pool, a sixth individual until I can address the situation that we have with the other individual. Is that a possibility, or do I have to,
You have to put in the charter.
okay,
Because I'm glad you brought that up, because I would like to do the same thing on landscape, because I've got someone interested, which is unusual, and I would like to grab her.
that's my thought, yeah.
I've got two people that are possibly 1 years, and I would love her to have a transition year
That's what I was
during the
thinking.
planning.
Well, could we write the charters that say the board, the liaison has the latitude to appoint an additional person if there's a transition? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
I didn't word it
difficulty
right,
with
but-
this is it gives you an even number.
Right,
But
and
how
then
many
that,
times do you have a vote that
Just
is
don't
actually a
make them,
tiebreaker?
make them non-voting until.
Well, most of the time they don't vote anyway. So, yeah.
okay,
Something like that.
so you're okay if we modify the charter in such a way that we create a transitional body or a transitional member?
You don't want that. Well, you have a lot of voting.
You have a lot of voting in yours.
Yeah.
I
Landscape
do
is
not
really
in mine.
advisory.
Yeah,
We
Social
usually
dining
come
is no
to,
votes.
yeah, and so landscape comes to agreement usually before they even vote. I mean, I can't think of one time where they've ever had somebody say, no, I don't like that idea.
Oh,
They work through it and then they,
That's what happens with fitness and racket.
You see, the problem with that is if we don't, if we have people that aren't showing up and people that aren't contributing,
I would just act on it.
we should just.
And I haven't had a chance to
Got it.
address it, and that's why I'm asking if I
Well,
can
mine
have
are
this
showing
interim
up. I
until it
just-
can be addressed.
I just know I've got two that might go off in a year.
Okay,
And I would like to have somebody understand the process. That's the
Well,
only
and
reason.
that's the other
Well, if you
piece.
did,
Is there an
if you did show up, I
alternative?
mean, like, I came, before I joined fitness or CDD, I was going to the facilities meetings at monthly. I was
Yeah,
just,
you were.
I was just the
But I
person.
kind of want her to participate too without that just public
Well, I
comments.
kind of participate, I mean, they let me participate, because they never showed up after, like, the second or third meeting, they kind of involved me and asked me what I thought, because I was there.
You can
And,
do
you
that
know, like,
without getting in
you know,
trouble.
Nancy comes to facilities,
Right.
we talk to Nancy like this.
She's like an adjunct
It's
professor.
not like we're trying to not have people contribute, and just because we're 5 people on the board, doesn't mean we're the 5 best people, or the 5 most knowledgeable people, or have all the answers. So if somebody has a suggestion or
So maybe
comment.
we could add to the charter, for transition purposes, the committee may add 1 non-voting member.
I'm good with that.
Let's
Would
do
you be
that.
okay? What, a transitional non-voting member?
Do you want to put that in
Okay.
your template and then
Yes.
we'll be sure we all, that way we're not wording it. Sorry, we're giving you, you're getting like
New
all the
template,
work.
new
I keep
update.
getting myself in trouble.
Yeah.
So I would like to defer as well at this point, because we only had one intent, and, which is fine. The
Right.
person actually is very well qualified. It's just they're not here year-round, and we already have a couple of seasonal members.
Right.
So Mark is concerned about quorum.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. I have, we have one person who's
But
not.
yeah, we'd like to find somebody who's here year-round, so we know we can get 3 people.
And also our facilities is a lot different than finance, because you guys can look at stuff in spreadsheets. We're walking around a building talking to vendors.
Yeah.
Or looking, you can't do that if you're not here, so
Can we
the onus on you.
defer appointments?
Well, I wonder if we could defer specific committees.
I don't know, maybe it's a question for both.
But let's ask Belinda, because I think, I don't want to defer, because I've actually got, I've got 3 vacancies out of 5.
Hmm.
Now, our folks don't vote, so it's not going to be the end of the world.
Well, we don't vote that much, we might vote to make a
Yeah.
recommendation to the board, but
Let's ask Belinda during the discussion. Is
Okay.
that all right?
Cool, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
No, I had a couple other things, but we still have like probably half an hour
Mhm.
after I rushed us. Do you want me to keep going on what?
Sure.
So just so you know, the LaSala work group stuff is moving along. Thank you again for being willing to let us go forward with getting the rough pricing. The architect is working on what is going to be needed for that. I had a call with one of the work group members with the architect. So one thing I would like to maybe just ask you to think about over the holiday break is the timing could be that we get some rough pricing back before the end of January. Does this, if that is the case, and I expect it will be, does this board want to consider having some resident meetings before the end of season to share, get temperature, et cetera, et cetera?
I would hold off on that, because in my feeling, this whole part of the building is scheduled to be redone in the next 1 to 3 years, 4 years, whatever, 2 years, depending upon what part it is. That construction may interfere with all of this, so I would say if you're gonna do that, think about possibly doing that. All of this should be part of it, and not just do a piecemeal this and piecemeal this and piecemeal this. Let's plan on getting this whole thing done, and then you propose to the residents, here is the future of the Venetian River Club with this whole area remodeled, because like I said, the carpet's scheduled to be done in 2 years, the floor out there is done this year, the painting is
So I
done
have
the
a
year after that.
suggestion. Could facilities at least take the elements that are in, like you I appreciated what you did, pulled out the things that are in the reserve study that, it's, carpeting and the other elements. And if we were to consider having a discussion with residents in, say, March, do a few town halls, which I think the strategic plan talked about doing anyway, at least if we can talk about those elements,
Sure.
then maybe that's a way to bridge it without frightening people that we're redoing half the club. Because what I don't want to do, well, my personal view is I don't want to derail that. We end up in this much larger discussion.
I think we have to be careful, because we tasked that particular work group with getting out to the community and doing work groups. So we have community input and we have public comment. The agendas go out publicly. People can see exactly what we're thinking about. I just think we didn't do it for landscape on purpose. We did joint meetings. We asked the public to come in. They had the plans in front of them. I think it makes this meeting much different than what it is if we use this for or if we have special town halls. And I like the idea of the work group doing it. I thought that was a really good idea.
Okay, because as an example, when and I won't drag this out, but when the two of us were chatting with the architect, he said, look, you could consider phasing things so that you get the outside stuff done first so you can operate, you have someplace to operate, because my concern is sales loss, as an example, during a construction period, which could be 6 to 8 months.
But I don't think that's something you do in a town hall. I think that's something we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
do.
and that's something else.
So-
I don't even find
And-
that.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm not
think
sure
so.
we will be by.
Okay, so then,
And that
that's helpful.
yeah, and that
That's
comes
the
with the advice of
appropriate
the, and that comes with the advice of the architect. Is I'm involved in pseudo construction, but I'm not setting a construction schedule. I have no idea what's going to be taken down, what views are supportive, whatever. That's what we need, and it all depends what we're ultimately going to do. So that's what the architect can tell us well, if we do this part of the salary, it's gonna affect this, and if you affect this, you might as well do this room at the same time,
Well,
or.
And I'm
you
very
can do
interested
thi-
in
you can
that
do
as
this-
well,
You can
because
do
I'm
this room
worried.
separately,
Yeah.
because it's not affecting anything else, you just have to be cognizant of it, but again, that's what an architect is gonna do.
so then maybe one more thing to think about, because we can, regroup in January, there's still time for us to do it, because at some point Hampton needs to be the lead
Yeah.
horse in the troika.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
Oh, and they've done a number of.
exactly,
Yes.
so,
Why not?
Yes,
you know,
Tap into that.
that also gets the committee out of the
Yes.
yes.
issue, because it's not an
It's not a
advisory
committee,
committee.
yeah. Right.
And I, so that's the other piece of it. Okay, well, let's noodle it, we'll regroup. Thank you for that, that's extremely helpful.
Yeah. I'd
Um,
really like to get Hampton involved.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
like, yeah, like,
100%.
yeah.
Yes.
Greg is, I can see the bubble over Greg's head says, after New Year's.
Yeah, but Greg's bubbles got Z off, he's exhausted.
Do you got more? You want an update on my conversation
Oh,
with
please, do that, yeah,
Heritage?
yeah.
Yes.
So they came back and said they would be interested in a long-term lease on a triple net basis. And I wrote them back and said, we proposed a long-term lease
Mhm.
and it's basically triple net.
What does that mean?
So net of taxes, insurance,
Okay.
and
Mhm,
operating
mhm,
expenses.
Mhm.
So I said, basically, that's what we were proposing. The only concern we have is we've got a nearly 25-year-old building that we know is gonna need a lot of updating. You've been depreciating it. All of that, its condition would be reflected in the selling price if you were gonna sell it. We have a problem with taking on things like roof and air conditioning units and things we know are gonna be close to a replacement cycle. At the same time, in fairness, going through the thought process myself, we're gonna be the ones getting the benefit of it for the next 25 years.
Mhm.
So I just said, it's unlikely we're gonna take it on a full triple net without consideration of the structural issues. I said, maybe you've already gotten the benefit of depreciation and all of that. Maybe there's something we can talk about in terms of future, either cost sharing or some, just keep the conversation going.
Mhm.
So they came back and said, they were gonna discuss that among themselves, but they thought that that was a reasonable response and they would like to keep the conversation going, is basically
Good,
what they
That's good.
said.
awesome,
Okay.
that's great news.
It's not a no.
Okay, good.
Good.
And what, do they
Because I
have,
had said to them, if you really wanna sell it and you don't wanna do this with us,
Right.
let us know so we don't keep talking about it.
I know they've been pretty close on a couple of options. Have they had the building?
I don't know I don't know if I said this in the workshop or the meeting before, but they were close twice.
Yeah.
And the potential buyer backed out at the 11th hour because they went through the process of getting cost estimates of what it would take. And it was so expensive.
Yeah.
that they-
But that
they
was my
backed out
point
of
is
the
I think
sale.
we need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because there's no plumbing, and there's no.
Yeah.
There's
no
one bathroom.
Plumbing, there's no,
Right.
there's
I,
minimal electrical in there. It was a building designed not to last,
Yeah.
to get through their sales cycle.
Well,
Mhm.
we also just need to verify, and maybe Rick can help us, whatever. Couple things, because that building was really, not designed to last, so it was not designed to really stay. Is it a permanent structure, or was it supposed to be turned after this
Like the
property
World's
is sold
Fair?
out? Was it-
Yeah,
was-
exactly.
yeah, Was it supposed to be turned over to be houses again? I mean, because that's an expensive piece of property with that, what, you could put 15, 20 houses on? That, what, 10 houses in that?
actually,
area?
they looked at that, the golf club looked at that. They actually have figured out that you could put 2 quads. You could do 2 condos
Yeah,
up there,
so
put 2 quads up there,
Mhm.
8 units
Yeah.
in that particular section
we
or
had-
houses.
Yeah, so I'm surprised.
We had
so-
a resident offer to buy it to do just that.
So it might be that, so we should really go back and look at the zoning, because it might be that way. We should also go back and look at the charters to decide if that property is under POA thing, because the golf course was pulled out separately from the master declaration. Was that piece of property pulled out from the master declaration? And is it under POA influence? We don't know.
The zoning is very bizarre, and I
Yeah.
will tell you, they have
Zoning
looked at
was
the zoning.
commercial.
No, but
No.
the zoning is like, they actually, one of the people they had close was a golf cart company. I just happened to have a long conversation with somebody, to come in and sell golf carts, because there was like, how perfect would that be if we needed golf carts, if a resident wanted a golf cart? And it doesn't, they can do it under zoning, because zoning doesn't allow any type of repair to happen anywhere on that property.
Oh.
There's all these weird little
Yeah.
pieces in that
That's what I'm
zoning.
saying. So that's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. We really
Yeah.
need to do a title search to find out exactly what that thing is zoned for, what business is under, and how it's set up.
I
Because
would also like to see some of the estimates, or at least get an estimate on what it would take to make that. It's not just that we think there needs to be more bathrooms. For the number of parking spaces, there have to be more bathrooms now. And if that is
and
a
handicap.
$500,000 adventure, I want to have that conversation before we go any further.
I think it's way more.
I think it's way more
I think
than
it's 4
that.
times that
I
myself.
think, yeah, it's not ADA compliant.
Mhm.
And then maybe we get to the point where maybe they raise it, and then we talk about,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really worried about getting into that building, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna cost a fortune, we're gonna have another assessment, that's not gonna be good. I mean, we just need to know what we're doing before.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ken, though, that's,
Really, yeah,
See what goes.
that's
good
cool,
negotiation.
cool. I got a couple of the quickies.
And then I got a couple.
Oh,
of
you go
things.
first.
Okay, well, actually, I have just a couple of things. A resident came up to me at the golf course a couple weeks ago, and in the community, obviously, there are some HOAs that have individuals that maintain their properties. And at this time of the year, she is concerned that she can't even get up and down her block because of all the landscaping trucks. And I don't know if this is something that we have influence on, but she had recommended it, or she wanted us to talk about alternate street parking. So on even dates, you park on the even side of the street. On odd dates, you park on the odds. Kind of like what we used to have in the Midwest. We used to, in the winter months, have alternate street parking for plowing. So she asked me to bring it up, and I thought I would bring it up and we can chat about it. How do you all feel if we went with something like alternate street parking in the prime?
I think it's a wonderful question.
Okay.
Because I know coming down Pissarro
It's impossible.
in the golf cart
Mhm.
to get here on some days,
Uh-huh.
you're taking the life in your hands.
In a car too.
Because you're weaving and you can't see around the curve. You can't see if there's a car
Yeah.
getting ready to come, because they've got both sides blocked.
Okay,
And there's a couple of
People-
contractors and landscape companies who park almost in the middle of the
The
street.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
is up with that? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I can't even see around them.
But here's the problem, if we just do one side of the street parking, that's not enough parking. You're not gonna get it done. That's the problem.
I think you still have the blind curve
You're
issue.
gonna have the blind curve, but you're also not gonna, you're still gonna have an issue with, and then if they're all on one side, then you've created one lane, and then you have to figure out what happens all the way down there to here, because if you pull halfway, and I pull
Sorry,
halfway, and it's
forget it.
all, what do? Someone's gotta pull into a driveway to let the other person go? And if we stand up, you pull in the driveway, no, you pull in the driveway.
How do you enforce it?
That's the other thing. I mean, and that's kind of why
Where do
also
you solve it
we're
for?
making
The
so,
rover can bring
and
that.
that's also Siltadella, an entrance, putting more traffic on there with these people who will go to Bella Vista will use that. It's only gonna make Pissarro even worse, and that concerns me. So yeah, it's a problem. I just don't know what to do. I mean,
You would have to have the guardhouse tell people on their way in.
Correct.
Today is right side parking.
Today's the 22nd, you are parking on the right side of the street.
yeah, I don't.
I'll never figure that out.
Right
The
side, right
guards or the
side.
vendors.
I was gonna say, is it the right side when I'm going south or north?
Right, exactly,
Well, on
exactly.
even days it'll be the even numbers, and odd days it'll be the
The
odd
odd
numbers.
Right,
Yeah. I
exactly,
mean, it's-
exactly,
but-
so you know what address you're going
Yeah,
to.
but I just don't know, but when it get, like the Sorrow gets so busy, you can't put all of those cars on one side of the street.
Yeah.
And then when you do, one side will be
That
will be
one
parked
bend
up.
right by Medici?
Yeah,
Well-
it'll be blocked up, it'll be parked up from the monument to Portofino, and the first car that gets in will have access, and everybody
You'll
else.
just create another problem if you do that.
Yeah, like I said, I told her I would bring it up for a conversation. I'm not passionate one way or the other. I just told her I would bring it up.
Oh, I definitely.
I mean,
Is she in a maintenance provided neighborhood or is
No.
she, okay, so it's where,
it's where she's trying to fight traffic getting in and out because there's, so much
It's her driveway,
landscaping and all that kind of stuff. Yes, yes. Mhm.
yeah, I get it. It's an issue. I don't know, should we continue to discuss it or are we kind of?
Maybe put it on an agenda.
That's
for
what I was
maybe
gonna
the
ask.
second meeting in
And then to-
January.
and then-
Sure,
and
I can
then-
do that.
And then to get cars on the right side of the street, driving in the right way means they may have to go drive all the way down, turn around to come back to park on the right side, to park on the road in the right direction.
Okay.
I mean, that's.
Maybe,
it's-
Belinda or Andy.
Yeah, maybe they have.
Thoughts about what other communities. do.
All right, I'll put it on for that second meeting in
And-
January.
And a lot of communities have
conversation.
roads that are a lot narrower than ours.
I know. If you go into Vicenza, I mean, and they've only got sidewalks on one side of the street too, and their streets
Yeah.
themselves are no wider
They're
than.
narrower.
They're,
than ours.
they're
It's-
much
because
narrower, I know.
I was looking up at, Wild Blue. Something.
Yeah, well, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about, yeah, and
You
Lakewood
could,
Ranch.
yeah, you could park on one side of the street, you can't park on the other, and then it was so narrow, I had to do like a 7-point turn to turn around, because it's impossible, it was just ridiculously narrow.
Got it.
Okay,
So are you done? You're not saying something else?
I just needed to let Keith know about one thing. Behind 202 to 218 Padova along the pond, I think I chatted with you about this a couple of weeks ago. Those residents would like to see that grass along the pond cut down. I'm just making the comment.
I believe it was done,
Oh, got it. Okay, you did it? Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
but
wonderful.
I will check for sure, but I had contacted Andrew about that, so.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, great.
I had a couple more really quick things to try to shorten up the agenda. So there's an item on here talking about a new server, but also a new router and some access points. I want to let you know that the router and access points has been done. I had a call with Steve Gigerson from Giger Vision, who's our IT provider, and he said, look, the server can be another discussion and I'll give you guys more information, but the router and access points are urgent because the router is providing some security. We've got residents using access points intended for business. So, well, because passwords were given, people I guess staff didn't understand, whatever. So, so that piece is gonna come out of it, and I don't think we have yet what we need from Steve Gigerson and from Justin Kuhn to discuss the server. So we'll probably discuss that at the first meeting in January, but did want to let you know that I authorized about $3,800 for the router and the access
At the last meeting, I said I was fine with that. So,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's,
yeah,
because we know
So
we
that's
had
done. I
issues,
just
we know
wanted
we
you to
had
know
issues, and
it's
that was,
okay.
that was a no-brainer.
yeah, absolutely.
That we
definitely.
can understand exactly what we were buying
So
and what we got.
So two other quick things. We did goals for Rosetta, and for Vesta, which doesn't matter anymore. But, do we want to maybe do that in January or something? How do we want to deal with the goals that we set for Rosetta?
Well,
Remember we had like a one pager?
yeah, well, okay, so I spoke to Chico and Luciano a couple months ago,
Right.
and supposedly Chico came. Did he meet with anybody?
No,
Not me.
Okay,
not
good.
me.
So I think that's the problem. So we can set goals, but if we don't get them here, I think we should have Chico and Luciano come, so we can talk to them to discuss what we expect,
Okay.
other than just a 5% raise every year.
So then that's, we need to tell Belinda that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Are you guys all okay?
Or you're the liaison, you can do it too. I mean,
Yeah, but I think, well, I guess that's true.
However, but I just think that to have a management company and never see management is, and to come to property and never reach out to anybody, and it's been,
Okay.
what was it, May they came? We were,
Was
Chico,
it
in
Right in
May?
the middle of
I think
chemo.
it was like May or something.
It was May, it was
May.
early in the year.
We all just started, we all expressed our concerns and,
All right,
and,
I'll let you know.
7 months later,
That's right,
haven't heard a word.
because it was, you're right, it was because it was after the implementation of the tech wave, yes. Okay.
All right, so we talked about that. What I didn't bring up at the last meeting, and maybe it's not for today, but I think I forwarded you an email that Keith had gotten from, I guess Roger Ephraim was asking
Yes.
at the police department about golf carts, because he was concerned, rightly so, I believe.
I do too.
And I thought it was actually interesting that the police department actually put in writing that you should have a rule. So, because your community roads are privately owned and not, well, I'm not sure that, well, they are privately owned, I guess, and not under traffic enforcement, with the city of Venice, police cannot issue traffic citations inside the neighborhood. And he said that our rules should mirror.
Oh, wait, that's not, our roads.
Unlicensed,
It says our roads are privately owned and not under, that's not true.
They're not, but they're not under
Under-
police. The police are not in here.
Because we asked them not to be, but they should, but they
No,
can't.
it's not because we did not ask them to be. It's because we're gated. There's the statute that influences whether or not they're gonna come in here and just, I mean, they do still patrol in here, but it's not the same as riding around on Seminole Avenue, in South Venice.
Okay.
It's for criminal activity. I
Right.
think that was the distinction. The police will come in here for criminal activity, not things
Because
like.
what they say is their suggestion, this is from the police department, have your community rules mirror the FSS requirements of 15 years of age with a learner's permit to operate a golf cart within the community. Additionally, having language, the golf cart drivers, regardless of age, need to follow all rules of the roadway and that a motor vehicle needs to follow. I honestly think this would reduce the liability for the CDD if this event did happen, and the liability would be on the guardians because the rules were written and not followed. We added an amendment in my community because of the popularity of golf carts. I think this issue is only gonna get bigger, and we're gonna have to deal with it sooner or later, because you got 5-year-olds driving.
I nearly got hit by a golf cart who went around the speed bump as I was crossing
Yep,
I was coming home from my run, and the guy didn't even bother to stop. You know why? Because he was late for his tee time. Because then I saw him driving back up Padova and heading to the tee box on South 6.
I'm all for putting the rules in it, and at the same time, I would put a rule in bicyclists as well.
Yes,
Because
100%.
bicyclists seem to follow the rules of the road,
100%.
because there are people that just ride right through stop signs, they ride right through the circles, they don't care what's going on, and they're just.
So the question
What are we
becomes,
doing with this?
well,
What are you
that's
doing?
the question.
I was gonna
how
say,
do we
what
enforce?
That's,
You got
that's,
e-bikes.
We can't even
same.
enforce the cars.
right,
but at least we're covered.
Well, but the question is, how do we do it? And I think it's an Andy question, because, there is something in the master deck for the community, not for the River Club, but for the community about it. But the question is, does it need to say something else? Do we need to alter the master declaration, which we've done, but it's not easy.
Are we
You wanna
altering
take
the
it
master
up with the
declaration?
POA?
Are we altering the declaration, or are we just advising the residents of Florida
He
statute?
said well, we do that all the time and they ignore it. He said it needs to be in your rules.
But these are River Club rules. So
Yeah, that's my question
It's
is,
really a POA.
Well, I guess,
it's really a
if they're
POA.
coming on River Club property, they still have to be the proper age.
Yeah.
That was what I was after.
I don't see a downside of putting something in there
All right, so we can talk more.
considers them. but-
Okay,
Andy might be the better guy.
okay. Stay with it, so, okay.
But I agree with you that it is 100% getting out of control.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He could have cared less that I was in the middle of the intersection between the pedestrian crosswalks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Could have
and he
cared
would've-
less.
Yeah, and he would have been at fault, but.
And I would have been,
Okay.
Yeah, that's a problem. He's a focus, and he would have been the one suffering.
or severely
Sure.
injured.
Yeah, that would be a great question. Let's talk about the screens.
Because I'm confused about what we're doing.
Me too.
The screens.
I
Can we
understand.
talk about the screens?
Yes,
again?
I would love to.
the roll down to storm smart screens? Do you have?
Are those inside or outside? They appear to be outside.
They're outside.
Are they outside for the perimeter of the pavers here?
Under
Why don't we ask
under the overhead. Under the overhead.
Yes, the thought with Tim Carr and having the people that did this smart screens at the Tiki Bar was the outside mount around this patio area to just serve as outdoor dining.
With, I'm sorry, go ahead, Cheryl.
No, I'm just confused. What are you gonna attach them to?
The building.
So you're gonna be interior, and then if we extend the patio,
Well, I'm not saying I'm gonna attach them, we just had an
I
additional,
know, but if we extend the patio and the new La Sala thing, that
That's what
patio
I'm-
gets extended, then we gotta redo the screen.
Right.
Exactly, it becomes a different, I just
These
think
are
it's.
hurricane screens. You
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
don't
dine
understand.
It looked like it was for the entire building.
No, I think that it was just from here where it curves
It's
around.
18
Yeah.
panels, I counted
Yeah.
it. It's from the kitchen all the way around.
And I think there's an option to do not the roll down metal screen and just do the screen area.
Because the way they've priced this, these are priced for the Kevlar 250
Yeah.
mile an
Right.
hour.
Right.
Screens.
And I think if the recommendation or suggestion is not to do the hurricane resistant screens, they will do that too. I think the initial swing for the initial quote included everything.
So it's not for that area, it's just for this rounded area
No,
here?
all the way to
Go all the way
all the way
to
to
the
the.
All the way to
Yeah.
the end?
And I don't know why we do that before we do the La Sala.
That's what I was trying to figure out, Cheryl,
I
thank
think
you.
this is premature. I think we just tabled
I mean,
this.
it'd be nice to have it, but, you know, that's my feeling
It
too.
kind of doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
just like what you said
Yeah.
about if we're doing construction in pieces.
Yeah. Unless we know for sure that, you know, it could be reused, but then all the electrical that's gonna have to get involved, they have to be redone as well. So you're taking stuff down, you're putting it back up, you move electrical, for one season potentially.
It's not the right time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We do, there is, I mean, if we wanna do something, we do have a quote, a loose quote to put up a cage for like $15,000-$20,000, and that will extend out to the edge of the patio presently. But again, you're spending $15,000-$20,000 for something that half of it will probably get knocked down and not be reused.
So my recommendation would be we table this until we get the La Sala report
Oh, in January.
in January.
Oh.
And then talk about what is the timing there, what is the architect saying? What, does this even make sense now? Does it make sense to talk about the cage instead?
You okay with it?
Are you
We'll just
okay
talk
with
in
it?
Yeah,
January
this was-
about it.
Can we
The
just push this
suggestion was
back?
only brought up because of the outdoor dining issue and to try to solve that for the season.
Yeah, I mean, because you were, I think, were probably at the point packing your house, but, you know, when Luciano had tried to set up a bar out there for one of the events, and he couldn't do it because he was just completely attacked by mosquitoes, and we are losing revenue, you know, we have to figure out where we can set up a bar.
Yeah,
Then
there's
it
just
makes-
really no outdoor dining.
Right,
There's
I'm not
no-
opposed to like a $15,000 or $20,000 solution. To me, that's a great temporary solution, especially if we are changing the concept of what's happening with tiki bar dining, then this would give people their outdoor dining space. But I don't want to make $120,000 investment. 15 to 20,000, that's great.
Also, I believe if I recall, we did it from like here all the way down, so
Yes.
half of it, you know, a third of it will be able to extend, we're talking about extending it past here to go to the edge of the patio, so it'd be a nice big area out here.
That makes
I
sense,
think
that
so.
makes more sense to me.
So
That makes a lot more
if
sense
you
to
want,
me.
we can have,
So you guys can.
I'll have facilities, or, you know, we can call up a few other people and get some real hard quotes on that, so we have something to talk about.
If you recall the committee, the solid committee, I think one of the places they looked at was Boca Royale
Yes.
and what they did. And I think if they
Oh,
rethink that or look at that and see how it might apply here.
What did they do?
They basically have a large outdoor seating area that's covered with like a tent. You know, it's attractive, but it's, I don't know what
it's
material
temporary
it
though,
is.
you mean like a temporary thing?
Well, no, it's permanent,
Okay.
but maybe it can be taken down like in storms or something, but it's covered. And I even think they have like the vinyl plastic, if it gets, you know, colder weather or too buggy, you can.
Oh, so almost like
You can lower
an
screens.
awning type of thing.
Yeah, That's all it is. But it's done very nicely. And they had looked at that. Something of that style might be appropriate here. And I don't think it's terribly expensive.
Do we need to break before, main meeting?
Sure. I'll go to Boca Grande.
After you leave there.
Exactly.
So we're off the record?
You were gonna take a 5-minute.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Apologize for my tardiness earlier. I had an unexpected call from my boss. They call it gainful employment, so I thought.